Welcome to the Bitcoin Stat Show, a weekly video podcast where we'll be covering all the big news in cryptocurrency. Whether you're mining, trading, or just curious about the world of digital currencies, this is where you're going to get all your info. And kicking off with the big stories of this week, Square, the popular mobile payment system set up by Jack Dorsey, one of the founder of Twitters.
Twitters.
Just Twitters.
Yeah.
No, he's obviously one of the founders of Twitter, and that Square is currently valued at $5 billion, which is quite punchy. So that's a big business, and they're accepting Bitcoin. But how does it work? It converts into USD ultimately, right?
Yeah. So it just allows anybody who's currently using the Square system to allow people to pay with Bitcoin, and it basically has no effect on their current system for the seller.
Yes.
You know, somebody buys something from their shop.
So to the seller, they just get dollars.
Yeah.
And Square
converts
handle
it
them.
automatically. Yeah.
That's interesting because that probably makes it more. Well, that makes it more adoptable for the seller. Can any seller switch that on?
Yeah,
Do they have to opt in, or can someone just now rock up to Square sellers and
I don't know, mate.
throw Bitcoin
We
at
haven't done
them?
that much research.
You haven't got a Square?
No.
I thought you were market traders, professional man.
Bring your Square. It's April 1st. Bring your Square to work.
Down the market store,
Bring your
knock off
Square to
Levi's.
work.
Yeah, that's it.
Get your packet of squares out.
But that's
It's quite interesting though, because Bitcoin's meant to save a certain amount of money as opposed to credit card fees. The same with other payment method fees like PayPal. Currently, that saving isn't being passed on to these people who adopt it. They're currently just paying the same fees to Square. Whereas it's safe to assume that the money that Square are using, after a certain amount of time, I imagine they've invested some money, but they're going to be gaining some benefit themselves from using the network, and that's not being passed on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of baby steps, isn't it? It's getting people in commerce getting their heads around Bitcoin just existing. I think
It'd be good to incentivize them though by reducing those fees.
Yeah.
So if they reduce the fees, incentivizes them to actually adopt Bitcoin. Therefore,
Yeah. I mean, the only incentive for them at the moment to accept Bitcoin through their Square setup is kind of the kudos of looking innovative. And
and actually, they're probably not going to want to promote that. You know, there's no reason for them as a business to promote Bitcoin because if they lowered their fees, they're not going to make as much money out of it as they would credit cards. So it's a really difficult one for Bitcoin. Credit card.
Stripe came out as well
in
the past week and said that they're working on Bitcoin, although they haven't got any details like Square have. I'm sure we'll see something similar from them soon.
Yeah. There's been some other big news. I know we always talk about Aurora Coin.
It's the Aurora Coin show.
I know, the Aurora Coin show.
Well, this is the first full week since the airdrop.
It is, and I suppose it's been dramatic in ways that I suppose we could have predicted. Because of a sudden abundance of anything makes the price drop. Suddenly, if anybody can apply for a load of it free, it makes it less valuable. And that's what's happened, hasn't it? The price has plummeted. Yeah,
$2. Currently valued at it actually fell to $2, but it's currently gone back up to 3.8 or something it was.
Correct.
I mean,
you've got to think that it's still $100 that if you happen to live in Iceland, like somebody's just giving you $100.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And in the last week, 26,000 people have applied for.
So 26,000 Icelandic citizens have applied for their share of Aurora Coin that's been given to them, and it's currently worth about $100.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And that's $253,000 worth of Aurora Coin. That's currently that was claimed in the last week. Not in circulation. It was claimed in the last week.
Have you still got your Aurora Coin?
Oh yes.
How much is it worth now?
It's worth about $8.40 or something.
And you bought that
100 and something.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. So in loss, a big loss.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's crypto.
That's crypto, as we say on the show. So tell me about those speculation that the Aurora Coin blockchain has been forked.
So it went out on Reddit and on other sites that there'd been a forking of the chain.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what a fork in a crypto chain might be, it's as if we're trading with one coin and all of a sudden Ash ends up with a different coin. It's easiest way to understand it is if me and Will have green dollar bills and all of a sudden Ash has red dollar bills and we no longer accept them. And so half of the people will be trading with one type and half will be trading with another type. And depending on if your exchange is on the right one, you might not be able to trade.
Yeah.
So
this happens. Like, it does happen. Like, by one or two block, there might be a fork. It's happened with Bitcoin. It happened with.
You mean where there's a variance in the ledger?
Yeah.
And there's then becomes two versions of the global ledger.
Normally it's for a very small time.
Because that discrepancy will iron itself out and correct itself.
Yeah, the longest chain, whoever gets more blocks is more secure.
And also it compares the blockchain against multiple versions of the blockchain to compare itself to validate that transaction. Those transactions have happened in the past and they are valid, and therefore,
But what can happen if there's enough miners on either side?
Yeah.
It can't correct itself, and then somebody always loses when there's a fork.
Yeah.
Of course.
So if it went unchecked for too long, you might be on the losing end, or Ash might be on the losing end, and then you'd both not want to agree.
Yeah.
And so in the end, it would probably kill the currency.
Right. Is there a winner on the other end of that? Does someone have coins that they maybe sent in a transaction but they suddenly got back? Or, I mean, when you say there's always a loser on one side of it, is there also a winner?
It's miners. And miners are the winners or losers.
Yeah.
Because the other transactions will sort themselves out.
The actual transactions between people, yeah, of course, right. It's mining.
Because the only ones that get confirmed are the ones in the longest chain.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. That's mind blowing.
Mind blowing.
Mind blowing. Yeah. Coinbase, obviously a big service, big name in the world of crypto. There was a leak of 2,000 user records this week.
Yeah.
And emails and names, so not passwords.
No.
But still, emails and names
breach.
were leaked in a big paste bin text dump, and there's rumours that someone reverse engineered the Coinbase API.
Yeah, that's one. It's either some sort of reverse engineering of a public API that's out there, or some sort of bug in their web system, or I don't know if it's currently 100% clear what the issue is, but it seems to be fact. People have came out and said that because of this leak, they've been receiving requests for Bitcoin. So on the Coinbase system, if you know somebody's email, you can basically send a request for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think the problem with technologies like this, Bitcoin's very advanced. Cryptocurrencies are very advanced in the way they technically work, and obviously that attracts a lot of like-minded, technically enabled people, and there's a lot of the Reddit community are very tech savvy and very wise, and it's not like something like Twitter where it's a mass kind of consumer product. Bitcoin's in its very early stage, and it has attracted these really technologically enabled users,
quite entrepreneurially minded people who like to hack things and play with things and try and break things.
And it's I think it's just it'll be one of those things that come and go. I think with the technologies, and the other thing is, I mean, we've seen it with Mt. Gox. They obviously hash together an exchange very quickly. Wrote a lot of bad code.
Because there's a gold rush, there's opportunities everywhere to make money and build companies on this new thing, so people do it in a rush, and there's...
Yeah, it's like when you just want to ship something, you get it out there and you fix it later. Well, they haven't fixed it later. And unfortunately, we're in the situation where a lot of people have lost a lot of money. And, that's not a result of the technology per se, that's a result of the business and the way it was obviously run internally. But the point is that these companies, the exchanges and wallets, they build technology very quickly. They have to iterate it very quickly, and it's quite difficult sometimes to be able to keep on top of that and make sure that it is watertight because of the consumers that it's attracting at that time. I.e. the hackerish type and the very tech savvy that want to reverse engineer it. They want to try and find flaws in it. And I'm sure Google gets in the past probably got a lot of attention from these communities. I mean anonymous hacker groups have attacked Google in the past, haven't they, in China and but they've got the infrastructure to be able to cope with that. And these very early stage exchanges and wallets, it's a fast-paced moving industry, and it's really hard for them to stay on top of it. So I think we'll see a lot of this, but it's just one of those things.
So some other news in the world of cryptocurrency. ATM Watch, our favourite segment on the show, one of our favourite segments after Aurora Coin Watch. The first Bitcoin ATM has landed in New Zealand, in the land of the hobbits. There is now an ATM. Do you know where it is in New Zealand?
Nah, New Zealand.
Just New Zealand. South Island, North Island?
We know nothing about it.
Heard on the vine.
We have zero information about the ATM in New Zealand, but
if you're in New Zealand
and you have
spotted the ATM,
email the show.
And this is a good time to plug Bitcoin Stats.
It is indeed. Bitcoin Stats app, bitcoinstats.co.uk. You can download it there for iOS or Android and track the Bitcoin prices across the top exchanges, and you can also track the latest news in the world of crypto in the app. It's free,
as well as watch the show.
You can watch the show every week in the app.
First to see the show.
Be the first to see the show. And of course it's brought to you by us, Ashley Ford, Sam Billingham and Will Francis, and our Twitter handles on the screen. I like doing that because I get to fade them in the edit. It's about the most exciting bit of the edit.
So in other news, the IRS have announced that they're going to treat Bitcoin as property, and that means that you'll have to pay capital gains tax on its value.
And is that mining, and is that also appreciation of value?
Depreciation of value, and it's capital gains. If you make profit on it, you're going to have to pay, and that's obviously in line with the UK stance of with Bitcoin with HMRC. So that's quite interesting.
It is, and I noticed HMRC say Bitcoin and similar cryptocurrencies. So obviously they just mean
just kind of blanket.
Anything that's worth.
We'll take
money.
Anything that's worth money.
And I suppose that's fair enough, really. If it was gold or coffee or oil, it'd be the same. But
although it does answer some questions, how they're going to regulate that?
Yeah, it does. It's going to be hard to regulate. I mean, with digital payments in general, with people, taking Square payments on their phone, or even like PayPal and eBay traders, they're quite invisible compared to the rest of us.
Yeah.
But this is a whole step on. You can be completely anonymous, and you can.
Not completely anonymous, but it's the miner in your garage situation.
The people checking this are going to have to be pretty technically competent as well.
Yeah.
To understand
100%.
like how much somebody's got or how they got it and whether it's gone up in value.
Yeah, you're right, and also to be able to look at what they bought that for, because of volatility. Are they going to know, right, I want you to export your Cryptsy records as a CSV so we can check your transaction history and then work out
fluctuations of price. Although they probably do that with stocks and shares anyway.
But there'll be standardised procedures.
You take some
really
sort of like yearly price as well.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. With the huge fluctuations in cryptocurrency as well.
I'll have to declare my Aurora coin losses, bring my tax bill down.
Yeah. Exactly.
Any other news in the world of crypto?
Best friend, Dorian Satoshi.
Oh yes.
Getting some more help. Some more Dogecoin, Bitcoin.
People have opened there's a fund for him.
Yep.
You can donate here. No, you can't. There's a fund apparently for him.
To Dorian Nakamoto, the man identified as the father of Bitcoin, it now turns out, possibly wrongly, by Newsweek.
Yeah. And the girl that wrote the article today.
There were some terrible April Fool's Bitcoin articles out today.
Awful.
About what?
There was the one about what's her name, Newsleak woman.
Yeah,
wrote the
she
article.
was.
Somebody wrote an article saying that she was actually
The father of
Satoshi.
Bitcoin.
All right.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Another pretty bad one from CoinDesk as well.
Yes. CoinDesk joined the April Fool's fun.
Yeah.
They announced. What did they announce as a April Fool's prank?
CEO of Bitcoin has banned China.
That's it. Ban China, which is.
The old China bans Bitcoin train.
Yeah. Hilarious. Anywho.
What's not funny is the people who didn't quite get it, who have been trading based on that bad info.
You're joking.
As well as people who have bots that try and trade on, that automatically try and trade on news. That obviously that's a negative article. There's a lot of negative.
Right, it picks up sentiment across news and that through bots.
Which is quite interesting.
Fascinating.
I mean, technically that is genius, but I mean, it's open to so many flaws.
So we should just set up a Bitcoin news site and then build up a little bit of credibility and then just start putting very strongly sentimented, like we'll buy Bitcoin. No, we'll sell our Bitcoin, and they'll put out loads of negative news stories with really negative keywords in the title.
Buy back in.
I mean, there's no reason why, if you had a massive site, you could easily sway consumer confidence.
That's that's a really interesting point with crypto is the power that players in the market can exert on it. You look at the Winklevoss twins. They're doing PR. They're doing interviews, and they're saying Bitcoin will be worth $100,000 each one day. Well, they're doing that to hype Bitcoin because they own
the value.
So much Bitcoin. And the same with any editorial outlet to do with crypto. It's a fair bet that, like us, they've at least taken a bit of a gamble on buying a bit of Bitcoin, probably a lot more than us. And so then how tempting is it to use your editorial sway to throw the market, especially with the smaller cryptocurrencies where you see it on the volume graphs. You see people trying to throw the Aurora coin or the Dogecoin, Moon coin, whatever markets.
Yeah, I mean, you only need a group of a few people, with a fairly large amount of coin to sway the market with some of these really small currencies. So
you can easily double a day's average volume, normal volume of a small altcoin.
Yeah, I think news sites or sites that are in power, they should really respect the authority that they have, across these cryptocurrencies, because it is so easy if they were to put out an article that has a negative effect. The April Fool's thing is obviously a joke, but they could quite easily put out, to start swaying the market. Though it's interesting, and I
don't know if I could handle that responsibility, but then obviously,
I guess we've got that responsibility.
I was just going to say,
well.
we obviously this episode might get 100 viewers. Hopefully, in 20 episodes time, we're getting 10,000 viewers.
Yeah. The thing is, though,
you got to take everything.
You have the responsibility. Yeah, you have to accept the responsibility that we are doing, giving information. But we are passing information on. We're trying to, I think we're trying to be fairly transparent in the way we deliver stuff, and we're not giving financial information.
Don't make any financial decisions based on the information in this show.
But as a rule of thumb, but it's. We don't go out there and say, you need to be buying Aurora coin. It's really cool.
We just try and get to the bottom of what it's all about.
Yeah, it's just a light-hearted kind of way of explaining what's going on in crypto.
Now we always do movers and shakers every week. I suppose there has been a bit of movement. The Bitcoin market's been quite interesting this week. Unusually, it's been quite stable in previous weeks. There's been a bit of a drop.
Down to about 450 this week, which is the lowest it's been in probably 6 months since before it started going up.
And why was that? Why did it drop?
It's because of the rumours that are going around in China at the moment still, that the banks are going to completely ban Bitcoin.
Yeah. And does that look likely? Do we know if that's going to happen?
I don't know if anybody knows any more than we did.
Yeah.
Weeks ago.
Yet to be seen. That will be a big deal.
I think the more that people like Square, like Stripe, legitimise it, then the less likely that they're going to be able to have an outright ban on it.
Although, China is, it's probably the second biggest global economic superpower.
And it's a bit of a law unto itself.
Exactly, as well as housing quite, large financial institutions.
Yeah.
So, they're probably going to be putting pressure on the government, to kind of wipe it out.
Yeah, I think they're currently still, I think, like 60% of Bitcoin is in China at the moment.
Right. That's huge. Like a massive proportion.
Yeah.
I mean, but the Chinese people obviously want to invest their money in something other than
that they have more control over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a no-brainer. But that means that the government are going to look at that and say, "Hang on a second, we're not getting any of this money." So yeah, I mean, whether they bring in regulations, I don't know what China's regulations are on Bitcoin. In terms of, is it like the IRS? Is it like HMRC? Do they see it as capital gains? Is it a property? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they've decided yet.
No.
I mean, so they could just do something like that and say, we're going to tax you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another option as opposed to banning it, because if they ban it, they're not going to make any money out of it. It seems bonkers.
Exactly, and they won't be able to really ban it. It would be stupid. But then we've seen countries try and ban the internet, and that doesn't work either.
No.
So we don't know what's going to happen really.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all from us this week on this week's Bitcoin Stats show. The show is, of course, brought to you by the team behind the Bitcoin Stats app, which you can, of course, download at bitcoinstats.co.uk. Download it for free for iOS and Android and track the Bitcoin prices across the top exchanges, as well as all the news in Bitcoin and, of course, the latest episode of your favourite video podcast on the subject. That's it from me, Will Francis, Sam Billingham and Ashley Ford. See you next week for more.
Stay crypto. I had to get it in, didn't I?